So there's obviously a demand.
That's where
That's
I was
right.
Who is the demand?
Well,
I want to know what, it's unbelievable what I'm learning because I was not aware of this. And I was at dinner last night and I was talking to friends and I said, oh, the show topic is human trafficking. So they said, what? What do you mean? And I went on to explain what I learned. It's unbelievable how many people don't know about this. So the demand here in Brooklyn, who's taking on
money.
these?
Isn't it all about money?
Well, it's a huge multi-billion-dollar industry. It's the third highest industry after drugs and guns worldwide. But first, I want to thank you for having the conversation with your friends last night at dinner. People often say to me, "How do you talk about this? Doesn't this completely bum you out all the time?"
It's very sad.
And when you're an activist. Yeah, you have your moments, but the truth is, I'm as an activist and as a public health nurse who sees this as an issue that can be stopped. You're an activist, I'm a publicist.
Yeah.
I believe in getting the word out.
All right, there we go.
That's all. We work together.
So demand is really a new approach that the government as well as advocates are starting to take on. Really, only since 2000, when the U.S. government and the United Nations started to look at this issue in a very serious way, did we begin to have a plan on how we wanted to approach this globally. And demand is one that's really more recent, although clearly one that's critical. So when we talk about sex slavery, we talk about the demand of men and women and who are exploiting children and women and men for commercial sex.
Yeah.
And so there's a campaign now where we're educating, where we want to educate young boys about, and men, you see this as a person who's there by choice. You think this person is there by choice. That's not true. When we talk about labor issues, our new ambassador in the State Department has asked everyone to think about garments that you purchase and whether or not that's part of labor and trade, the trade of labor. So we talk about sustainable issues. We talk about knowing that you buy something, excuse the comparison because we're talking about human beings and human tragedy here, but people have become, no one would have thought 10 years ago the issue of purchasing something around a sustainable issue would be so easy to remember now. And we hope that the demand campaign can also suggest that people wonder, I'm buying this product, who made it? In the hands of, I'm picking on one country, was it made by children in Thailand? Are those sneakers that I'm purchasing for $150, were they paid pennies and where there's an exploitation there?
I think that the saddest piece, because I started to watch it on YouTube, so many pieces on it. The saddest one that I probably was seeing is that they kept saying, law enforcement kept saying, well, no matter how many we arrest, there's somebody to replace them.
That's right.
So it's almost like, how do you really break this cycle where you have to get the kings of this? It's sort of in the drug industry.
Exactly.
It's not about the kids who are the victims that buy the drugs. It's not like, it's like the drugs. The kids on the street become victims by buying the drugs, but we don't really want to get them. We want to get the people that are really supplying them with narcotics. That's it. They need to be locked away, and we need to make examples of them so that somebody who's watching it from the outside.
But if you look at some of the issues, and again, we all did a lot of online research to familiarize ourselves with this issue when it came up. But I think when you become aware, and an awareness campaign, so when I go into a hotel and I wonder about who's changing the linens, and are they documented, are they well paid?
In hotels?
In any situation.
In any industry.
It's any industry. I'm not picking on the hotel industry, but I'm just saying that it's about this awareness as a consumer and someone who purchases. We don't want to participate in those economies. You know, we want to actually stand up and say, I don't believe in this. And it's very hard. I mean, you mentioned a few websites when I think you were talking about nail polish that you could go look at to see, you know, to vet, if you will, the rigor which an employer or someone might, you know, educating the men and boys, why are you doing this? They're not here.
That's
you know.
right.
It's very tedious.